Hello friends, myself Dr. Renuka Joshi. Today I want to give a seminar on the topic biodiversity. Specifically on this day, today it is the 5th June, that is the World Environment Day. And the theme of this year for the World Environment Day, it is the biodiversity. So I am on to clear some points which are responsible for explaining what is this biodiversity and what is the importance of the biodiversity for the human life. The World Environment Day is firstly started within 1972. Majorly, the United Nations General Assembly established this World Environment Day. Now, as the environment it is responsible for the life, or it is helpful for the life, for the human life, the different benefits we are getting from the environment. For that purpose, it is very much essential to be aware for the environment, and for that purpose majorly this World Environment Day it is celebrated. According to the United Nations, this year it is the theme for the World Environment Day, it is the biodiversity, a concern that is both the urgent and existential. Now majorly within the today's environment or within the today's life, majorly the biodiversity, that is the different biological forms, these are get extincted from the environment, means there is the loss of the biodiversity, and for that purpose it is essential to every person will teach about what is this biodiversity and what is the importance of biodiversity for the human life. Now this year Colombia is hosting the World Environment Day in collaboration with the Germany. Now, specifically, firstly, we are focusing on the what is the concept of biodiversity. That is, specifically, what is mean by the biodiversity. Now, this term biodiversity, simply we can explain that bio it means the biological life, or it is the life, and the diversity, that is the differential forms of the life, the different forms of the life. This term biodiversity was first coined by the scientist Walter G. Rosen in 1986. Means firstly we are introduced to this concept of the biodiversity in 1986. As we are discussing that in the simple one, biodiversity it is nothing but the variability within the life forms, that is the different forms of the lives that are appear on the earth. It is considered as an biodiversity, and worldwide this variation within the life forms it is observed, that is the different peoples, the different plants, animals, birds which are observed on the earth, these are not similar, there is the variation within these life forms. Now these life forms includes the unicellular organisms, that is the protozoa, bacteria, fungi, and the multicellular organisms like that of the plants, fishes, mammals, and the most important the viruses which able to infect the different life forms. No doubt these viruses, these are not the multicellular unicellular organisms, but these are acellular, but specifically these are acts as an pathogens or the parasites of the different life forms. Now within the today's life, within this year 2020, we are suffered from a pandemic that is caused by the coronavirus. So it is of the virus. Majorly we know that each of the life forms which are appear on the earth, these are affecting the human life, and we are suffer from that conditions. For that purpose majorly it is important to study this biodiversity. Now then we are focused on the point the distribution of biodiversity, means how there is the distribution of this biodiversity. Now according to the Whitaker's classification system, we know that the famous classification system for the different life forms that are appear on the earth, it is the Whitaker classification system. According to this, all of the life forms which are appear on the earth, these are get distribution within the 5 kingdoms. The kingdom Animalia, which is possessing the highest variability within the species, that is the different forms of the species, these are included under the kingdom Animalia, that is up to the 1 lakh known species of the animals, these are included within this kingdom Animalia. Then it is followed by the kingdom Plantis, that is the different plants which are appear on the earth, these are included under the kingdom Planti. Then it is followed by the kingdom Fungi, that is different saprophytic fungi, that is which are eukaryotic in nature, these are included under this kingdom. Within that also these are responsible for the degradation purpose, that is within the environmental degradation process there is the environment of this the fungal species. Then it is followed by the kingdom Protista, and then by the kingdom Monera. Now this variability of the different flora or the fauna are affected by the physical factors such as the climatic conditions, type of the soil, then the altitude and other life forms which are present within that area. Means majorly These all points or these all concepts, these are related with the ecosystems. Now the ecosystem, it is the relationship between the living and non-living things that are appear within the earth or on the earth. Majorly, as these different life forms, these are present on the earth, that is which is constituting the biodiversity. These are affected by the physical factors. These physical factors, that is the climatic condition, type of soil, because majorly as the growth of these different life forms, these are depending upon these physical factors. So due to that, this biodiversity, it is also affected by these physical factors. Now there are the different hotspots of the biodiversity within the world. Now these hotspots, it means majorly these are some specific areas which are present within the earth or within on the different sides of the world, at which these specific species are observed, and due to that these are considered as the hotspot for that species. Means within that restricted area only we are observing that specific type of the species or the different types of the species or the variability of that species. Now the different areas present worldwide where the lots of variability in the species of plants and animals, it is observed. These are including majorly within the India. The most famous one, it is the Western Ghats of the India, then the East Himalaya region. These are included within the India, which are the hotspots for the biodiversity, within which we are observing the various types of the species of the plants and animals. Now, the North American coastal plain, then the Atlantic Iceland, these are also the hotspots which are present within the world. Now, these biodiversity hotspots, these are host their diverse ecosystem. Means these are representing the diverse ecosystem. Diverse, it means the different forms of the life. These are present on just the 2.4% of the planet's surface. On 2.4% of the planet's surface. However, the area it is defined as the hotspots covers a much larger proportion of the land. Much larger proportion of the land. The original 25 hotspots covered only about the 11.8% of the land surface area on the earth. Overall, the current hotspots cover more than the 15.7% of the land surface area but have lost around 85% of their habitat. It means no doubt these are covering the more area, but there is the loss of the variability. That is, within that habitat, the number of the different species which are present, these are extincted out. Means there is the extinction of some of the species within that hotspots. Now, this loss of the habitat explains why the approximately 60% of the world's terrestrial life lives on only 2.4% of the land surface area. Means due to the destruction of this biodiversity, the complete whole wildlife, it is get affected, and there is the reduction within the number of the wild animals. And for the secure life, it is essential to save these wild animals. Now we are discussing about the benefits of biodiversity. Now, ecologically, majorly this biodiversity, it is very much important in the view that different ecological subjects, these are covered by the biodiversity. Now, the most important point or the most important benefit of the biodiversity, it is majorly it is responsible for the balancing within the nature. It is responsible for balancing the nature. Now, within the nature, the different life forms that are present, and these are arranged at the various trophic levels. No doubt within the ecosystem, as we are discussing that the ecosystem, it is nothing but an interrelationship between the different living organisms and the different physical phenomena or the physical factors of the environment. And majorly all of these life forms which are present within the restricted area, these are responsible for affecting each other, or these are interreacted with each other. So specifically whenever we are discussing about this trophic level, those species which are present at the lower trophic level, majorly if there is the destruction of these species, these are responsible for disturbing the other trophic levels, because the upper trophic levels, these are totally depending upon the lower trophic levels. Majorly means firstly the producers, that is the plants which are responsible for producing the food for the animals. Then the herbivores, they are eat these plants and they are getting the energy. Then again on the herbivores, these are eaten by the omnivores, they are getting the energy. Likewise, within this tropic level, there is the arrangement of the organisms on the basis of their how they are, either these are the autotrophs or these are the heterotrophs. Now within the complex ecosystem, as within complex ecosystem there is the presence of the alternative organisms within each of the trophic levels. So due to the destruction of only a single species, there is no any loss to the complex ecosystem. But whenever we are discussing about the specific ecosystem, whenever there is no alternatives, these are present, these are completely get destructed whenever there is the loss of any one of the species of the any trophic level. Now here one of the figure about the ecological pyramids. Now within the ecological pyramids, here we are seeing the different four trophic levels. At the base of the this ecological pyramid, there is the presence of producers, within which all of the plants or the photosynthetic organisms which are able to synthesize their own food material, or we can say that here all of the autotrophs, these are present at the this basic level, that is the producers. Then the primary consumers, here we can consider that these are the herbivores. Then the secondary consumers which are depending upon the primary consumers, and the tertiary consumers which are depending upon the secondary consumers. Now here whenever we consider that if there is the destruction of the producers, no doubt it is affecting the primary consumers. As there is the primary consumers, these are get lower down, then ultimately there is the reduction within the secondary consumers, and it is resulted in the reduction within the tertiary consumers. Means there is the reduction of a single species can affect the total ecosystem. Now the another important benefit of the biodiversity, it is the biological productivity. Now this biological productivity, it is nothing but the quantity of organic matter or its equivalent in the dry matter, carbon or energy content which is accumulated during a given period of time. This is the common definition for the biological productivity. In the biosphere, the efficiency of solar energy utilization or the productivity, it is often measured by an increase in the biomass, a term used to refer to the weight of all living organisms in an area. Means in short, we can say that the biological productivity, it is nothing but the biological biomass that is formed by the producers. It is a biomass formed by the producers. Means by getting the energy from the solar or the sun, that is the utilization of the solar energy, they are preparing the biomass or they are producing the biomass. It is called as the biological productivity. If there is the no biodiversity, or if there is the reduction within the biodiversity, no doubt there is also reduction within the producers. These are also affecting the biological productivity. So for the maintenance of biological productivity, this biodiversity, it is important. At each of the trophic level, the different organisms, these are present, and each of these trophic level or the living forms at each of the trophic levels, they are responsible for maintaining or developing this biological productivity. Now the third point, which is the another again one of the most important benefit of the biodiversity, it is the regulation of climate. Now we know that the climate regulation, it is the service which is provided by the ecosystem, and it regulates the processes which are related to the atmospheric chemical composition. Means the different chemical components that are present within the atmosphere which are responsible for maintaining the climatic conditions. The greenhouse effect, the ozone layer, precipitation, air quality, and the moderation of temperature and weather pattern. Moderation of temperature and weather pattern, which also include the cloud formation at both the global and local areas or the local scales. Means by this way, majorly the biodiversity or the different parts of the biodiversity, that is the life forms, different variability life forms which are the part of the biodiversity, these are responsible for regulating the climatic conditions. The another point, it is the waste degradation. Now we know that majorly due to the industrialization, the different waste materials, these are also produced according on then the agriculture waste it is produced, industrial waste it is produced, the household waste it is also present. Means within the environment there is the saturation of the waste, there is saturation of the waste. If this waste material, it is not get degraded, much of the large area of the earth, it is covered by this waste material. So for that purpose, majorly the fungal species or the saprophytes, majorly which are grown dead and decaying organic material, these are responsible for degrading this waste material. And also some of the bacteria, these are also responsible for degrading the waste material, that is the complex organic compounds which are saturated as an waste material, these are get degraded into the simple forms by these bacterial and fungal species. Means these are break down the organic material. Means as these bacteria or fungi, these are the parts of the biodiversity, means again this biodiversity, it is help for the degradation of the waste material, and it is avoid the saturation of this waste material. Now this process of the biodegradation, it can be divided into the three stages, that is, it is biodeterioration, biofragmentation and assimilation. Means biodeterioration means firstly this complex organic form, these are get converted into some of the simplified form. Then there is the biofragmentation, again there is the conversion into the smaller fragments. And then assimilation, it means all whenever these complex organic form, these are converted into the simple one, these are utilized as an carbon and energy sources by this bacteria and fungi, and there is the growth of this bacterial and fungal species on that material. Now the cleaning of air and water, means again this biodiversity, it is also helpful for the cleaning of air and water. Now the Cardinal study, the scientist Cardinal firstly explained the role of this biodiversity within the cleaning of air and water. Now they are promoting the self-cleaning power of water streams. According to the study of Cardinal, the algae, the different algal species or the some specific of the algal species, whenever they are grow within the streams and produce the more biomass, they incorporate into their bodies some common forms of the pollution and thereby remove it from the water. Means due to the algal growth, there is reduction of the some waste material from the water. By this way, these are responsible for cleaning of the water bodies. Cleaning of water bodies. The biological diversity of the algal species greatly increases the removal of one of the most deadly and insidious toxins in our streams like the lakes and rivers. Now the nutrient cycling in the environment. We know that there are the different types of the biogeochemical cycle, that is the phosphorus cycle, water cycle, hydrogen cycle, carbon cycle. Now through this biogeochemical cycling, we know that there is the recycling of the nutrients. Recycling of nutrients. Now the different life forms which are present or which are the part of the biodiversity, now majorly these are responsible for the cycling of these nutrients. Majorly the more amount of these nutrients can't be get prepared, but whenever there is the death of the organisms, again the nutrients which are present within the body of that organisms, these are get degraded. Means there is the degradation, the bacterial and fungal degradation, these are responsible for transferring all of these nutrients within the soil. From the soil, again some of the organism get this nutrient and these are transported within the ecosystem. Means there is the transport of this nutrient within the ecosystem. It is called as the nutrient cycling or the biogeochemical cycling. For that purpose, the different life forms, these are plays an important role. By this way, the biodiversity, it is also responsible for the nutrient cycling which is carried out within the environment. Now the detoxification of soil and the increase within the soil fertility. Now, majorly the detoxification, it is the removal of the toxins from the soil. Now, majorly the due to the different industries, these are present, and these industries, these are responsible for transferring the different waste material which is released from the industries within the soil. These are mixes with the soil. That is the different heavy metals, these are also included within that. As due to the mixing of these heavy metals within the soil, these are responsible for decreasing the soil fertility. For that purpose, some of the fungal species, these are responsible for removing these toxic heavy metals from the soil. That is bioleaching. Bioleaching means these are responsible for removing that heavy metals and these are retains the productivity of the soil. Then the different microorganisms, these are also responsible for the improvement within the soil fertility, that is through the nitrogen fixation, phosphate solution. Now within that, the free nitrogen fixing bacteria like that of the azotobacter. We know that within the environment, the 78% of the nitrogen it is present, but it is present in the inert gas form. And the nitrogen, it is the major nutrient which is required by all of the organisms for their growth, or it is responsible for the improve within the growth. So these nitrogen fixing bacteria, either it is a symbiotic nitrogen fixing bacteria like that of the rhizobium or the free nitrogen fixing bacteria like that of the azotobacter, they are fix this atmospheric nitrogen and get convert this into the available form to the other life forms. That is, firstly it is transferred to the plants through the soil, and then from plants we are getting this nitrogen. Then the phosphate solution. Likewise, that of the nitrogen, the phosphate, it is also an important nutrient for the growth. So the different forms or different bacteria, these are like that of the Bacillus species. These are responsible for solubilizing the phosphate. That is the non-available form of this phosphate which is present within the soil. It is get solubilized by the activity of these bacteria. These are responsible for secreting the different types of the organic acid which is resulted within the solubilization of this phosphate, and it is get mixes with the soil, and through that soil the plants they are getting the phosphate which is responsible for increasing the crop yield. Now these are the all of the benefits of the biodiversity. Now there are some of the threats to the biodiversity, or how there are some losses to the biodiversity. Now the biodiversity, it is under the serious threat as a result of the human activities. Means no doubt we human beings, these are responsible for the total loss to the biodiversity. The other threats means due to the different human activities, that is the civilization, then the industrialization, there is the increase in the population size. All of these human activities, these are responsible for the threats to the biodiversity. The another one, it is a tremendous increase within the population. Now due to the increase within the population, there is the reduction within the size of the habitats. Means within the habitats, whether there is the presence of these different life forms, due to the increased population, this size of the habitats, it is get reduced. So due to this, there is the reduction within the biodiversity. Then the climatic changes and the global warming. Again, it is also get resulted due to the human activities. There is the increase within the global warming. It is increase in the temperature of the earth. Then there is the habitat conversion. Then the over exploitation of the natural resources. Then the natural disasters and the low breeding rate. Some of the species, these are having the very much low breeding rate, due to that there is no very much increase within the number of these specific species of the organisms. So all of these are the threats to the biodiversity, and it is one of the most serious problem to be considered, how to conserve this biodiversity. Now for the conservation of biodiversity, it means it is we try to give the protection for the biodiversity, or it is considered as an protection and the scientific management of the biodiversity to maintain it at its threshold level and derive the sustainable benefits for the present and future generation. Means the maintenance, stable maintenance of the biodiversity, and there is no loss of the any life forms from the earth. Now this conservation of biodiversity, it may be carried out within the from the two ways, that is either it is a in situ conservation or the ex situ conservation. Now within the in situ conservation, the species, these are protected within their natural habitats. These are protected at their natural habitats, that is there is the development of the zoos or the national parks. Within that we are conserving, or the specific habitats, whether they are naturally present, they are conserved at that site only. It is called as the in situ conservation. And within the ex situ conservation, majorly there is the development of the zoos and national parks. Within that, the different species of the animals, birds, plants, these are get preserved within the national parks and within the zoos. Then for the future concept, or for the future generation, to protect this biodiversity for the future generation, majorly there is also the development of the seed bank, gene bank, then the pollen bank, through which we are preserving these different species. Now the different biodiversity conventions means how the information about the biodiversity, or how there is the knowledge about the biodiversity, it is get distributed worldwide. Now the first biodiversity convention, it is arranged within the Brazil in 1992, and it is named as the United Nations Conference on the Environment and Development, which is signed by the 150 different countries, and it is majorly carried out for the enrichment of the biodiversity, to avoid the extinction of the different species and to enrich the biodiversity. Now the second convention or the second conference, it is organized on the biodiversity in 2002 at the Johannesburg as the World Smith on the sustainable development. Then the India also organized and the International Conference on the Biodiversity in 2010 at Chennai. Again, the second international conference on the wildlife and the biodiversity, it is arranged in June 2010 within at the Srinagar. Now, from all of the discussion, it is important we can conclude that this biodiversity it plays an important role within the human life, and also it is essential for the protection of the environment. Or in other words, we can say that we can protect the environment whenever we are balancing or we are maintaining the biodiversity. For getting the healthy environment, which is essential for our health, it is essential to prevent the loss of the biodiversity, to prevent loss of the biodiversity and also conserve the biodiversity. For this, majorly for transferring this knowledge to worldwide, majorly we are also celebrating the 22 May as an World Biodiversity Day. So all of these, it is the information about the biodiversity which is the theme for this year, the World Environment Day. So all of these about the information, these are some of the references that I would referring for making this video. Thank you.